I guess I'm trying to figure out, and maybe that's my problem, what's blocking me. Because obviously, to me, if the belief is really there, then I would be well. And yet I feel like the belief is there. You know, like I say, throughout this, you know, I've gone through this knowing that I'm going to be healed, and yet it just keeps spreading, and now the prognosis that they give me is just not very good.
When you think about the current state of your body, what emotion would you say best describes it?
Frustration.
Well, frustration is a simple thing to move beyond, and frustration is not a match to the diagnosis that they have given you. But the reason we ask this question is because we want you to feel around there. We're not trying to talk you into telling us that you feel something other than frustration, because we think frustration accurately depicts what you're feeling. In fact, it's rather remarkable that you're speaking about something that seems so serious in terms of the action journey, and that your attitude and verbiage about it is as light as it is. Don't you agree? So, if frustration is where your vibration is, we say to you, then the vibration, and we don't disagree with that, then the vibration of your being is no longer a match to the diagnosis that they've given you. Now, put it this way, these will be soothing words to you. Begin saying things like, never mind where my vibration was, where it is right now is not at a place where this could have gotten started from where I now am. But my frustration might be enough to allow it to continue. You see what we're getting at? Because you can move from frustration into that knowing that you're talking about relatively easy. Now let's poke around here just a little bit and make sure that frustration really is where you are. So just talk about the situation. Some would say, well, shouldn't she change the subject? And we say, you can't really change the subject because it's a subject that's so much in your experience. And so this is a situation where if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would take the bull by the horn and we would shift our vibration up that scale. So just talk and let's feel around and see where your set point really is. So just ramble. There's no right or wrong here. Just ramble about where you are.
Okay. And I guess that's part of the frustration and confusion to me, because as I sit in the doctor's office, you know, where we are now medically is that there's just not much else they can do. So from their aspect, you know, they're talking about, well, we can do a lot more toxic chemo, but we really don't have any hope for that. So they're starting to turn where they're just treating me for quality of life. And yet, inside me, I'm going, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Well, be easy about that, because whatever they're doing is whatever they're doing, but what you're doing is going to matter a whole lot more. And so anything that they can do to keep you comfortable, that's a wonderful thing. And meanwhile, the thing that we most want you to hear, and it is so nice of you to visit with us and give us an opportunity to say this in a powerful way. There has never been a better reason for you to separate your action journey from your emotional journey. You just really have to separate them. And if you could know what we know about the vibrational nature of your being, if you could say and mean in the way we say and mean, if I tend to my vibration, everything else falls into alignment, you see. And so that's really what you've got to do. We like it. In fact, we've teased about this for many years, that we really like it when someone gets something that is terminal or something where the doctors, through their action world, are not giving any more hope, because then you once and for all have to finally do the only thing that really ever worked anyway. In other words,
and that's where I am.
And that's where you are.
When they talk about doing more chemo and all, I'm going, I don't think so.
So what you're wanting to do, can you separate the action journey, do you think, from the emotional journey?
I think I probably can about 70% of the time. But
So-
that 30% comes up when other people it's like, how do you shield yourself from the other people who keep introducing to you
Well, what you do
your
is
physical journey?
you get so fixated on what you need to do and say to yourself to make yourself feel better, that what others say becomes irrelevant. And it's a wonderful thing. We would like everyone to get to that point quickly, where what anybody else thinks about anything is irrelevant unless it enhances your awareness of what you're wanting. There are all kinds of reasons that you like to mix it up with other people because the experiences of others stimulate your own awareness of what you're wanting. But this is really a good example of the advantage of leaving everyone else out while you just concentrate on your emotional journey. So let's assume that your vibration is somewhere between fear and frustration. Do you think you're fearful at all?
I have my moments.
Well, let's start there with the vibration of fearful and talk to us, if you will, just a little bit about your specific situation from your fearful point of view. And then we want to show you how to move up the emotional scale. So just the thing that's interesting, and we want all of you to watch this as we progress here. It won't take very much time. There's a tendency not to stay focused on the task at hand. And the task at hand is only to feel a little better right now. The task at hand is only to move your emotion from fearful to less fearful. That's the task at hand. And the tendency is to get off the subject, to want to talk about other things, to talk about it in the way that you've been talking about it. But we want you to try hard to stay focused on the task at hand, because the emotional journey is everything. And as you show yourself you can do it, then you're on your way. We don't care if you have 15 deadly diseases in your body, really. So, speak from your fearful point of view, and then let's try for something that feels less fearful.
Okay. The fearful part is, leaving family and friends to deal with me not being there anymore. The fearful part is what if I don't beat this? Because part of it too is I so believe that we can create.
What you do is don't lose track of what we're doing here. In other words, what we're doing here is settling in on the lowest vibration that you frequently find. You say, part of the time I'm not there, but start there and then deliberately pick something that feels better and show yourself that you can consciously choose a thought that feels better. So, for example, it would go sort of like this. I'm fearful because I'm at the end of the offering of the doctors, and I don't have any other methodology that I trust or have faith in that makes me believe that something is going to turn around. In other words, is that descriptive of how you're feeling?
Yes, and that I'm running out of time.
And that I'm running out of time. All right, when you said that amplifies it still further. So now feel that vibration. Feel the vibration. Try to separate yourself from the details of about what brought it about, and just feel the vibration of that. And then we want you to take this emotional journey not because we want you to cure your cancer, but because we want you to feel better right now. And that's the distinction that most people forget. Most people think that we're trying to teach you a process so that you can fix that. So this is the way it works. I have this thing that I do not want, so I'll do this process so that I can fix this thing that I do not want. And now you're right back in the vibration of the thing that you do not want. I'll stand on my head, I'll do the surgery, I'll do the chemotherapy, I'll do Abraham's stupid process, I'll do whatever it takes in order to beat this cancer. And what we're wanting you to hear is that you keep ending back in the vibration of the cancer when you do a process in order to fix the cancer. So what you're doing on this emotional journey is apart from the cancer altogether. It's apart from the physical action journey that you're upon. The emotional journey is about just right now trying to make myself feel a little better. And people, they don't realize for the most part how important that is. In other words, they think that it's just Pollyanna, or they think that it's fooling yourself, or they think that it's not facing reality or facing the facts. The doctor's afraid to give you false hope. And we say, they don't understand anything about what's happening in your physical body. If you could bring yourself from a place of feeling fearful to a place of being hopeful, your body would shift so much that disease that is moving through your body could not move through your body. It moves on the current or the vibration of fear, you see. That's why every disease becomes much more rampant after diagnosis, unless there is a cure for it that somebody can then hang their star on. In other words, if somebody says, oh yes, you've got a disease, but we've got a cure for it, then you've got the solution activated within you almost the same time you've got the problem activated within you, and so you don't have to live the problem very long without the solution. But when they say, you've got a problem for which we have no solution, then that fearful vibration or that fearful feeling is the indication of a vibration that is a perfect match to the perpetuation of the thing that you do not want. So did you sort of get the sense of what we're talking about? Mm-hmm. We don't want you to go take more chemotherapy, although there's nothing wrong with it. We don't want you to get all caught up in the action journey or all discouraged because the action journey seems to have dead-ended. We want you to understand that it wasn't where it was at anyway. It's always been about the vibrational journey. And you can show yourself and others if you want to, although we wouldn't do it for any reason except that we wanted to show ourselves, you can make yourself feel better. It's the fear you've got to beat. It's the fear you've got to beat. That's all. And when fear is replaced with a feeling of hopeful optimism, now things change because that diagnosis cannot abide in a vibration of hopefulness. It really cannot. So sometimes people will say, we heard a little bit of it from you, well, I think I used to feel pretty hopeful. And we say, it's not possible. The first thing that you have to accept, and you have to get fast at accepting it, everybody, is nothing ever happens to me that isn't a match to a vibration that I've been offering. So if I've got something that doesn't match something that I think I was offering, then I just didn't know what I was offering. And that's not unusual. Most people, it's just so normal to be ornery. It's so normal to be overwhelmed. It's so normal to be mad at somebody. It's so normal. It's not normal from your non-physical point of view, but people settle in to those vibrations and then they wonder why they got all this stuff going on. So now here you are. You have a fresh, new, powerful, pointed, powerful desire that is focused within you. There is a rocket of desire that is screaming out of you. The source center is just responding to you. You have more healing energy moving to the cells of your body than the rest of this room put together because of the circumstances that you're living in and the desire that's focused within you. That's powerful stuff, you see. You don't have to look for healing cures. You don't have to go ask for healing energy. Your circumstances have achieved that, you see, but you do have to do something about your resistance so that you can allow that to take place. And that's why we're doing such a sales job on getting you to move up this emotional scale. So now, you told us about how you feel, the fearful way that you feel, although we have to say, you've done such a good job of speaking how you think you want to sound, not necessarily how you really feel, that we're not sure that you're really in touch with how you feel. Are you feeling sort of numb to it all?
Yes, and I think that's, what you're saying is so true.
Are you afraid to let yourself feel it? In other words, are you trying to isolate yourself? Are you trying to protect those around you? Are you trying to put on a brave face? In other words,
I think that's a lot of it, and I think a lot of it too is, keeping myself focused on the positive. I guess I'm not allowing myself to feel some of the things that.
And here's the thing that we want you to hear. If you were, in fact, keeping yourself really focused upon the positive, then there would not be a progression of all of this. Mm-hmm. The progression of it stops when you really get there. So one of two things is happening right now. Either things have slowed down in terms of the progression of this more than you know and more than they're telling you, or you're not feeling as positive as you're telling yourself that you do. In other words, one of those things is out of whack. And so what we want you to do right here is sort of poke at it with a stick until you acknowledge how you really feel, and then let's do something about improving how you really feel.